Welcome to another frictionless podcast, where work, management, and education collide. Today's podcast is the second about the increasingly important subject of motivation. Motivating people at work and in education has had a bumpy ride over the last decade or so. Helping employees and students become engaged at work and in school is a major challenge for management and teachers today. Despite a lot of effort through training managers and teachers, little has changed in terms of engagement. Even new theories of motivation are still failing to find the magic key that so many seek. Our last motivation podcast discussed a range of popular motivation theories to help make sense of what they are, how they work, and are they valid today. You can find a link to that podcast below. We now engage in a more detailed discussion around the relevance of motivation theory, the relevance of some motivation models, and provide some ideas for harnessing a mixture of the theories to move forward at work and in education. Before we dive into the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment below. Your support helps to keep these conversations going. For those of you who are interested in the first motivation podcast and a more detail about the various individual motivation theories, you will find them on my YouTube channel, Frictionless, at the links below. Enough talking, let's start the podcast.
Okay, ready to dive in.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Today we're tackling motivation theories.
Oh, interesting.
But not just any theories. We're looking at the ones that make us wonder, are they really still relevant?
Yeah.
In today's world.
Right.
We've got this fascinating collection of research articles here covering everything from those classic models like Maslow's hierarchy of needs to Herzberg,
Of course.
Vroom, and even some newer stuff like self-determination theory.
Oh, I see.
What we're really trying to figure out is, are these theories just, relics of the past? Or can they actually give us some real-world insights into what motivates people, not just at work, but maybe even in classrooms too?
It is pretty fascinating how much we just sort of take these theories for granted.
Yeah, totally.
Don't we? Like, we assume there's this one-size-fits-all model to understand motivation.
Right.
But when you look at the research, it paints a much more complex picture, I think.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I think makes this deep dive so exciting.
Yeah.
We're not just reciting definitions from a textbook.
Right.
We're actually grappling with these ideas and seeing how they hold up in today's world.
Absolutely.
So let's start with the big names.
Okay.
The classics.
Ones everyone's heard of.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that pyramid.
Right.
Where you start with basic needs.
Food, shelter.
Yeah. Food, shelter.
Yeah.
And you climb all the way up to self-actualization. It's iconic, right? But is it actually relevant to today's workplace?
Well, Maslow's theory has been hugely influential. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, yeah.
But some experts argue that it is a bit too simplistic.
Okay.
Even a little rigid in how it's structured.
How so?
Well, it assumes this linear progression through the hierarchy.
Yeah.
But really, people's needs and priorities can shift and change all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Especially in today's dynamic work environment.
That's so true.
Like
someone might prioritize work-life balance.
Right.
Over a promotion.
Exactly.
Even if that promotion means, more money.
More money, yeah.
More prestige.
Precisely. And that's where some of those limitations of these traditional models become really apparent.
Okay.
They don't always capture the nuances of work life.
I see what you mean.
Modern work life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe Maslow's hierarchy isn't the perfect blueprint for motivating employees in the 21st century.
Yeah.
What about some of the other classic theories, like Herzberg's two-factor theory?
Okay.
Does that hold up any better?
Well, Herzberg's theory, with its distinction between hygiene factors, like, salary and working conditions, versus the motivators, things like recognition, achievement.
Right.
It offers a bit more nuance, you could say. But even this theory has faced some challenges. Some researchers would say that the line between those two factors isn't always so clear-cut.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example? Like, how could salary, which seems like a basic hygiene factor, actually act as a motivator?
Okay, imagine this.
Oh,
a significant salary increase is tied to achieving some very specific goals, goals that are meaningful to the employee.
I see.
In that case, salary becomes more than just compensation.
Okay.
It's a symbol.
Of recognition.
Yeah, recognition, accomplishment.
I get it.
You see?
It's not just about the money itself.
No.
But what it represents.
Exactly.
So context really matters.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a theme emerging here.
What's that?
That motivation isn't one size fits all.
You got it. And this is where things get really interesting. Okay. Because if we move beyond just assuming, everyone's driven by the same needs and desires, we can start to explore some more individualistic approaches to motivation.
Okay.
And this leads us to another classic theory, Vroom's expectancy theory.
Okay, Vroom's expectancy theory.
Yep.
That one sounds a bit more complex.
It is a bit more, yeah.
Can you break it down for us? What's the core idea?
Sure. In essence, Vroom's theory suggests that people are motivated to act when they believe that their effort will lead to good performance.
Yep.
1.
Yeah.
2, good performance will be rewarded.
Okay.
And 3, the rewards are something they actually value.
So it's not just about working hard.
No.
It's about believing that your hard work will actually pay off.
Exactly.
In a way that matters to you.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. And this theory highlights the importance of individual perceptions and expectations.
Okay.
What one person finds rewarding, another might not.
Right.
It also emphasizes the need for clear communication and transparency from employers.
Okay.
Employees need to understand how their performance is being evaluated and what rewards they can expect for their efforts.
So Vroom's theory is basically saying, ditch the vague promises.
Yeah, get rid of those.
And actually show people the connection between their effort, their performance, and the rewards they care about.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
It seems much more applicable to the modern workplace.
Yeah.
Where people are looking for meaning and purpose in their work.
Absolutely.
Not just a paycheck.
Sure.
Now, this brings us to a really important question.
Okay.
Are these motivation theories that we're talking about applicable in the same way to both workplaces and educational settings?
Interesting.
Are there parallels? Can we learn from each other?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It seems like there could be some overlap, but also some key differences.
Of course.
I mean, in the workplace, you have, salaries, promotions as motivators.
Yeah.
Whereas in education, you have grades.
Grades, yeah.
Maybe the satisfaction of learning.
Sure.
But maybe there's more to it than that.
Oh, there definitely is.
Okay.
While those specific rewards might differ, the underlying principles of motivation can be applied in both settings.
I see.
For example, the need for autonomy, competence, and relatedness, which are central to self-determination theory.
Right.
They're just as relevant in a classroom as they are in a workplace.
So whether you're a teacher trying to engage your students or a manager trying to motivate your team, the idea is to create an environment where people feel like they have some control over their work.
Yes.
They feel capable of doing it well. And they feel connected. To others.
Precisely. And this is where we can really start to see the value in exploring these theories.
Okay.
They give us a framework for understanding human behavior and for designing environments that foster engagement and high performance.
Okay.
But as we've seen, it's not about blindly applying these theories as rigid rules.
Right.
It's about understanding the core principles and adapting them to fit the specific context.
Okay, so we're seeing that maybe these traditional models aren't completely obsolete, but we need to use them more thoughtfully.
Yeah, I think so.
Be aware of their limitations.
Absolutely.
Consider individual differences.
Of course.
And adapt them to the unique challenges of today's world.
Exactly. Yeah. And speaking of models that might need a bit of updating,
okay,
let's talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
While it's still widely referenced,
it is.
It's actually been heavily criticized in academic circles.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
But we see it everywhere.
I know, right?
In textbooks.
Textbooks, yeah.
Training material.
Training materials.
Even pop culture.
It's everywhere.
Why would something so popular be considered flawed?
Well, for starters, the idea that people must satisfy lower level needs.
Like the base of the pyramid.
Yeah, like food and shelter. before they can even aspire to higher level needs.
Like self-actualization.
Yeah, self-actualization.
Okay.
It hasn't really been supported by evidence.
Interesting.
People are far more complex than that.
Right.
They can be striving for creative fulfillment while also worrying about their financial security at the same time.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So the rigid structure of that pyramid doesn't really reflect how human motivation works?
It doesn't, no.
It's like trying to squeeze a multifaceted diamond into a square box.
A great analogy. And another issue is that Maslow's theory doesn't really address the role of cultural differences in shaping motivation.
That's interesting.
What motivates people in one culture might be completely different from what motivates people in another culture.
That's a really crucial point.
It is, yeah.
So even if those basic needs are universal, the way they're prioritized and the ways in which people seek to fulfill them can vary widely.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to be mindful of cultural context.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we're talking about motivation,
I agree.
What works in one setting might not work in another.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so Maslow's hierarchy, while influential, maybe needs to be taken with a grain of salt.
I think so.
Especially when we're thinking about, the complexities of the modern workplace.
Absolutely.
Are there any other theories that have fallen out of favor? Or are considered suspect?
Okay, yeah.
In today's world?
There are a few.
Okay.
But one that stands out is reinforcement theory.
Okay, reinforcement theory.
Yeah.
Remind me, what's the basic idea behind that one?
Okay, it's basically the idea that you can shape behavior through rewards and punishments.
Oh.
You reward desired behaviors, punish undesired ones.
Right.
And over time, the individual learns to behave in the way you want.
So it's kind of like training a dog.
You could say that, yeah.
But applied to humans.
Right. But the problem is it reduces human motivation to a simple stimulus response mechanism.
Okay.
It ignores
those internal factors.
Yeah, those internal factors.
Like thoughts, feelings, values, goals, right?
It seems a bit dehumanizing.
It does a bit.
Like you're treating people as robots to be programmed rather than individuals with their own unique motivations.
Exactly. And that's why it's fallen out of favor in a lot of circles.
Okay.
It's simply too simplistic to really capture the complexity of human motivation.
Especially in the workplace where creativity
Yeah.
and innovation and intrinsic drive are so important.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're adding reinforcement theory to our outdated theories pile.
All right. Check it on there.
Are there any others we should toss on while we're at it?
Let's see. Another one that's been heavily criticized,
though it still pops up occasionally, is cognitive dissonance theory.
Cognitive dissonance theory. Yeah. That one rings a bell. It's about the discomfort we feel when our actions and beliefs don't align.
You got it.
Right.
Yes. And the theory suggests that people are motivated to reduce this discomfort by either changing their beliefs or their behaviors.
Interesting.
It's a fascinating idea.
It is.
But it's been largely integrated into other more robust theories, like self-determination theory, which provides a much more comprehensive framework.
I see.
So
cognitive dissonance theory was groundbreaking in its time.
For sure.
But it's not really a standalone theory anymore.
It's not, no.
It's more like a piece of the puzzle that fits into a larger picture.
You got it. And this actually highlights an important point about the evolution of motivation research.
What's that?
These theories aren't static. They build upon one another.
Right.
They're refined, and sometimes they're even discarded. As our understanding of human behavior becomes more nuanced.
That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about clinging to old ideas.
No.
But about being open to new perspectives.
Absolutely.
And embracing that ongoing journey of discovery.
I love that.
Speaking of which, I'm curious to hear more about those newer perspectives on motivation.
Okay.
What are some of the emerging theories or models that are gaining traction in today's world?
That's a great question. And that's exactly what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive.
Ooh, can't wait.
So picking up where we left off, you asked about emerging theories in motivation. One that's particularly relevant to the modern workplace is self-determination theory.
Yes. Self-determination theory.
Yep.
We touched on that briefly earlier.
Right.
I remember it emphasizes the importance of autonomy, competence, and relatedness.
That's it.
But I'm curious to hear more about how this theory actually plays out in practice.
Okay, well, the beauty of self-determination theory is that it moves beyond that simplistic idea of carrots and sticks.
Right. Yeah.
External rewards and punishments.
Yeah.
It recognizes that people are inherently motivated to learn, to grow, to master new skills, but they need the right environment to flourish.
So it's about creating a workplace where people feel empowered.
Empowered, yeah.
Capable, and connected to something larger than themselves.
Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
Like, what are some concrete steps that managers can take
Okay.
to apply this theory?
One key strategy is to provide opportunities for employees to exercise autonomy in their work.
So like giving them more control.
Yeah, more control over their schedules. Letting them choose which projects they work on, or even just giving them more freedom in how they approach their tasks.
So it's not about micromanaging
No.
every detail.
Right.
But about trusting employees.
Yeah, trust is key.
To make decisions and take ownership
Exactly.
of their work.
And research shows that when people feel that sense of ownership, they're more likely to be engaged, productive,
makes sense,
and satisfied.
It taps into that intrinsic motivation we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
You know, that drive that comes from within.
Yeah, from within, not from external pressures.
Not from someone looking over your shoulder all the time.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so we've got autonomy. Another key aspect of self-determination theory.
Yes.
Is fostering a sense of competence.
Competence, that's crucial.
This means providing employees with the training, the resources, the support.
Yeah, all of that.
They need to feel confident.
Right.
In their ability to do their jobs well.
Exactly.
So it's not just about setting high expectations, but about giving people the tools.
The tools, yeah.
They need to meet those expectations. And it's also about providing regular feedback. That focuses on
their strengths and areas for growth. You know, when people feel like they're making progress and developing their skills, they're more likely to stay motivated.
Right, because they can see the progress.
Exactly.
They're not just stuck.
Yeah, it's not stagnant.
That reminds me of something we talked about earlier.
Oh, what's that?
The importance of self-efficacy.
Self-efficacy, yes.
You know, that belief in one's own ability to succeed.
It's so important.
It seems like self-determination theory really aligns with that concept.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
In fact, research suggests that promoting autonomy and competence can actually enhance self-efficacy.
Interesting.
Which then leads to
even greater motivation. Yeah. Okay, so we've covered autonomy, competence.
Yep.
What about relatedness? How does that factor into creating a motivating work environment?
Okay. Relatedness refers to that need to feel connected to others, to feel like you're part of a team, a community. And this is so important in the workplace because it creates a sense of belonging, support, shared purpose.
I can see that.
Right.
When you feel like you're part of something larger than yourself.
Yes.
It gives your work more meaning.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel more invested in its success.
Exactly. And there are lots of ways to foster relatedness in the workplace.
Like what?
It could involve team building activities.
Okay, team building.
Social events, mentorship programs.
Mentorship, that's a good one.
Or simply creating a culture of open communication and collaboration.
It seems like we're talking about more than just motivation here.
It is bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, we're talking about creating a positive, and supportive
work culture.
Work culture where people feel valued and respected.
Exactly. And this is where the lines between motivation theory and organizational psychology start to blur.
Oh, interesting.
It's all interconnected.
Right. So when people feel good about their work environment and the people they work with, they're naturally more motivated.
They are,
to perform at their best.
To do their best work. Absolutely.
Okay, so self-determination theory is definitely a model that resonates with the modern workplace.
I think so.
It seems like it offers a lot of practical insights.
It does.
Into how to create a more engaging and fulfilling work experience.
Absolutely.
Are there any other emerging theories that we should be paying attention to?
There are several.
Okay.
But one that I think is particularly interesting is the concept of job crafting.
Job crafting. Okay, that's a new one for me.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Well, essentially, job crafting is about empowering employees to actively shape their own jobs in ways that make them more engaging and meaningful.
So it's not about waiting for the company to hand you a perfectly designed job.
Right.
But about taking initiative.
Taking initiative, yeah.
And making it your own.
Make it your own, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
And this could involve a variety of things.
You could, yeah.
Like changing the tasks you focus on.
Tasks, yeah.
Adjusting your work schedule to better fit your lifestyle.
Schedule.
Seeking out new learning opportunities.
Learning opportunities, yes.
Building stronger relationships with colleagues.
Relationships, absolutely.
Or finding ways to connect your work to a larger purpose.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Connecting to a purpose.
So it's about taking ownership.
Ownership, yeah.
Your career and creating a work experience.
Yes.
That aligns with your values, your interests, and your goals.
Builds us, absolutely.
That's pretty empowering.
It is empowering.
Yeah.
And research suggests that job crafting can lead to increased job satisfaction.
Okay.
Engagement.
And well-being.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways to make work more than just a job.
More than just a job, right?
It's about making it a source of personal fulfillment.
Fulfillment, yeah.
And growth.
Growth, absolutely.
And I think this aligns really well.
It does.
With this overall trend we're seeing.
Yeah.
In the modern workplace.
Like
a shift away from those rigid, top-down,
yeah,
approaches to management and a move towards more flexible. Okay, employee-centric.
Employee-centric, yes.
Models.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
In today's knowledge economy, companies need to attract and retain top talent.
And that means creating a work environment that supports people's individual needs. And aspirations.
Exactly.
This brings us back to your earlier question.
Oh, which one? About whether workplace management can learn from educational approaches.
Okay, yeah.
And vice versa.
Right.
I'm really curious to explore that further.
Okay, good.
It seems like there could be a lot of cross-pollination of ideas here.
A lot of potential there.
Absolutely.
For example, the concept of personalized learning, which is gaining a lot of traction in education, could be applied to workplace training and development.
Personalized learning. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. It's essentially about tailoring the learning experience to the individual's needs, interests, learning style.
I see.
Instead of having everyone go through the same standardized training program, you create a more customized approach that allows people to learn at their own pace and in a way that resonates with them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
It's about recognizing that people learn differently.
Absolutely.
And that a one-size-fits-all approach isn't always effective.
Not always, no.
And this concept could be easily adapted to the workplace.
Very easily.
Imagine a training program.
Okay, yeah.
Where employees can choose from a variety of learning modules.
Learning modules.
Complete them in any order they like.
Any order, okay.
And access resources that are tailored.
Tailored, yes.
To their specific job roles.
That's the idea.
That would be amazing.
It would.
It would make learning so much more engaging.
Engaging, yeah.
And relevant. And it would also empower employees.
Empower them, yes.
To take ownership.
Ownership, there it is again.
Of their own professional development.
Exactly, and that's key.
And another area where workplace management could learn from education.
Okay, I'm listening.
Is in the use of feedback.
Feedback, interesting.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, think about the way feedback is typically given in schools.
Okay.
It's usually frequent.
Okay.
Personalized. And focused on helping the student improve. Yeah. It's not just about assigning a grade at the end of the semester.
Right.
It's about providing ongoing guidance and support.
That's a great point.
Right.
And I think that's something that many workplaces could improve on.
I agree.
Too often, feedback is given infrequently.
Yeah, not often enough.
It's focused on past performance.
Past performance, yeah.
Rather than future growth.
Future growth, that's key.
And it's not always delivered in a way that feels supportive. And constructive.
Constructive, right. And this is where borrowing some best practices from education could be really beneficial.
Imagine a workplace where managers provide regular informal feedback to their employees, where they focus on Helping them develop their skills?
To develop their skills.
And reach their full potential?
Reach their potential, yes.
Oh.
That would be such a positive shift.
It would.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would create a culture.
Of continuous learning.
Continuous learning, yes.
And improvement.
Improvement, absolutely.
Where feedback is seen as a valuable tool.
A tool, yeah.
For growth.
For growth.
Rather than a source of stress.
Stress, yeah.
Or anxiety.
Anxiety, right. And it would also foster a stronger sense of trust.
Trust, yeah.
And connection between managers and employees.
Which, as we've discussed, is crucial.
Crucial.
For motivation and engagement.
For sure.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Really?
It really is.
I'm glad.
It's making me rethink everything I thought I knew about motivation.
That's good, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It's exciting to see how these theories can be applied in practical ways to create more engaging and fulfilling experiences.
Engaging, fulfilling, yeah.
Both at work and in education.
I agree. It really underscores the fact that motivation isn't some mystical force.
No, not at all.
That's beyond our control.
Right.
It's something we can cultivate.
Cultivate.
And nurture.
Yeah.
Through intentional action.
Intentional action, okay.
And a deeper understanding of what truly drives us.
What drives us, yes.
I love that.
So, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, can you give us a quick recap?
Sure.
Of the key takeaways so far?
Absolutely.
You know, what are the main insights that our listener should be walking away with?
Okay, I think one of the biggest takeaways is that motivation is not a one-size-fits-all concept.
It's not, no.
What motivates one person might not motivate another.
Right.
And what motivates someone at one point in their life might not motivate them later on.
Absolutely, it changes.
It's a dynamic and evolving process.
It is, yeah.
Right. It's about understanding individual differences, recognizing that people are motivated by different things.
Different things for different people.
And being flexible in our approach.
Flexible,
Yeah. Right.
And another key takeaway is that context matters.
Context matters?
Yeah, the same theory might play out differently in different settings.
Okay.
What works in the workplace might not work in the classroom.
Right.
And vice versa.
That's a great point.
It's about adapting our understanding of motivation to fit that specific environment.
I think the third big takeaway is that we need to be willing to challenge our assumptions.
To challenge our assumptions.
Just because a theory is popular or well-known.
Well-known, right?
Doesn't necessarily mean it's accurate.
Right.
Or effective.
Effective, yeah.
We need to be critical thinkers.
Critical thinkers,
Always asking questions.
Asking questions, yeah.
And seeking out new perspectives.
New perspectives, absolutely, absolutely. And finally, I think the most important takeaway is that motivation is not something that just happens to us. It's something we can actively cultivate and nurture both in ourselves and in others. We have the power to create environments that foster engagement. Yeah. Growth. And fulfillment. I like that. That's such an empowering message. It is empowering. It's not about waiting for inspiration to strike. Right. But about taking action. Taking action, okay. And creating the conditions for motivation to thrive. I love it. And speaking of taking action, in the next part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring some practical strategies that our listeners can use to boost their own motivation and create more motivating environments. More motivating environments, yeah. For others. For others, okay. And I can't wait. This is getting really exciting. It is exciting, I agree. Okay, bring on the actionable advice. Okay. We've spent a lot of time exploring these motivation theories. We have. But now I'm really eager to hear about those practical strategies you mentioned. Right. The ones that can help us boost our own motivation and inspire those around us. Okay. Where do we even begin? A great starting point is to go back to the idea of goal setting. Goal setting, okay. It might seem simple. Right. But it's incredibly powerful when you apply it effectively. Yeah, I agree. Remember that SMART goals method we talked about? Oh, yeah. SMART goals. Specific, measurable, yeah. Achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Right, time-bound. That's your roadmap to success. Okay, so what about those times when you're feeling stuck? Yeah. Or demotivated? You know, life happens. It does. Throws curveballs. For sure. And sometimes even the best laid plans go astray. They do. What advice would you give someone who's struggling to stay on track? One strategy I find helpful is to break down those big, audacious goals into smaller, more manageable chunks. Smaller chunks. That way you're not staring down this massive mountain of a task. Right. But you're focusing on taking one step at a time.
One step at a time.
Okay. It's like climbing a staircase. You don't leap to the top in a single bound.
You take it one step at a time.
Exactly.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It makes the whole process seem less daunting.
Less daunting, yeah.
And I imagine those smaller wins along the way
Yeah.
can really boost your confidence.
Absolutely.
And keep you motivated.
For sure, those little victories give you a sense of accomplishment and help keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
Another helpful tip is to create a system for tracking your progress.
Tracking your progress.
It could be as simple as a checklist.
Okay.
Or a journal where you record your accomplishments.
I love that. It's like having a visual reminder of how far you've come.
A visual reminder, yeah.
It's easy to get discouraged when you're focused on what's still left to do.
Right, you get tunnel vision.
But seeing all those check marks or entries can really shift your perspective.
It can.
And fuel your motivation.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's helpful to connect with your why.
Why, yeah.
That deeper reason.
The deeper reason,
Behind your goal. Why is this important to you?
Exactly. Why does it matter?
What will achieving this goal allow you to do?
What will it change?
Or become?
Reminding yourself of that bigger picture can really reignite your passion.
Right.
And give you the energy to keep going.
That's so powerful.
It is.
It's about tapping into that intrinsic motivation, that sense of purpose that drives us from within.
Exactly.
Okay, we've talked a lot about boosting our own motivation.
Yeah, we have.
But what about creating those motivating environments for others?
Or others, okay.
How can we apply these insights
to
inspire our teams, our
Same.
students, or even our families?
Our families, that's a good one.
It seems like the principles we've been discussing
Yeah.
could be applied in a lot of different contexts.
Many different contexts, yes.
What advice would you give someone who's in a leadership position
Okay.
and wants to create a culture of motivation?
Well, one of the most important things is to foster a sense of autonomy.
Autonomy, okay.
As we discussed earlier, people are more motivated when they feel like they have some control over their work.
Right.
Or their learning. So give them choices whenever possible.
Choices, okay.
Let them have a say in how they approach their tasks,
Okay.
their projects,
Projects.
or their studies.
So it's not about micromanaging
No, not at all.
or dictating every detail,
Right, that just stifles motivation.
but about empowering people to take ownership
Ownership, yeah,
and make decisions.
exactly. And that leads to greater engagement,
Okay.
creativity.
And a sense of responsibility.
Responsibility, absolutely.
Another key strategy is to provide opportunities for growth and development.
Growth and development, yes.
People are naturally motivated to learn,
To learn.
to expand their skills.
Expand their skills, yeah.
So create an environment that supports that.
That supports that, okay.
That could involve offering training programs,
Training programs, yeah.
providing mentorship opportunities,
Mentorship,
or simply encouraging people to step outside their comfort zones
Get out of that comfort zone.
and take on new challenges.
Exactly.
And when people feel like they're growing and learning,
Yeah.
they're more likely to stay motivated and engaged.
It keeps them going.
It's also important to recognize and celebrate achievements.
Achievements.
We talked about the importance of feedback earlier,
We did.
but it's not just about providing constructive criticism.
Right.
It's also about acknowledging effort,
Effort.
celebrating successes,
Celebrating, yeah.
and making people feel valued and appreciated.
That's so important.
That's such an important point.
It is.
It's so easy to focus on what needs improvement,
It is, yeah.
but taking the time to acknowledge what's going well can make a huge difference in someone's motivation and morale.
A huge difference. Absolutely.
And finally, one of the most powerful things you can do to create a motivating environment is to foster a sense of community.
Community, okay.
When people feel connected to others.
Connected to others. Yeah.
When they feel like they're part of a team.
Part of a team, yeah.
Or a group that supports them.
Supports them, right?
And cares about them.
Cares about them, yes.
They're more likely to be motivated and engaged.
Absolutely.
It's that sense of belonging we were talking about earlier.
Yelling.
It's so fundamental to human motivation and well-being.
So fundamental.
So create opportunities for people to connect.
Connect, yeah.
To collaborate.
Collaborate.
To share their ideas and perspectives.
Share, absolutely.
Whether it's through team building activities.
Team building, yeah.
Social events.
Social events.
Or simply creating a culture of open communication and respect.
Open communication and respect, those are key.
Fostering that sense of community can make all the difference.
All the difference, I agree.
This has been such an insightful
yeah.
and inspiring conversation.
It has been, hasn't it?
It really has.
I'm glad.
It feels like we've covered so much ground.
We have.
from the history of motivation theory to the latest research.
The latest research, yes.
On what drives human behavior.
What drives us, yeah.
And most importantly, we've explored how these concepts can be applied in practical ways.
Practical ways, that's key.
To create more motivating and fulfilling experiences. And both for ourselves and for others.
For ourselves and others, absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think the key takeaway here is that motivation isn't some elusive quality that only a lucky few possess.
Not at all.
It's something we can all cultivate and nurture. Through intentional action.
Intentional action.
And a deeper understanding of what truly inspires us.
What inspires us, that's the key.
That's a perfect note to end on.
A perfect note.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of motivation.
My pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful, thought-provoking, and empowering.
Absolutely.
Remember, the journey of motivation is ongoing.
Ongoing, yeah.
There will be ups and downs.
Ups and downs, for sure.
Challenges and triumphs.
Challenges and triumphs, yes.
What? With the right mindset.
And
the strategies we've discussed.
The strategies,
You can navigate those twists and turns.
You navigate those twists and turns, right?
And achieve amazing things.
You can.
Absolutely.
And remember,
yes,
keep those goals smart.
Smart. Okay.
Those connections strong.
Strong connections.
And that motivation burning bright.
Burning bright. I love it.